Hello everyone, it's Kyle Warsinski. I'm going to be doing my week 4 presentation for MPA 510, in which we look at two organizations, one private, one public, that have similar missions. So I've titled my presentation Staff Augmentation in the Public Sector. The two organizations is one's a municipality, so City Hall, and then the second is either Albert A. Webb and Associates Engineering or Willdan Engineering. You can pick either of them, but it's my comparison is going to be people working within the Public Works Department, so a city engineer or an engineer that is hired by the city to perform the same duties and perform the same mission from one of these two firms. So the similarities are fairly simple. Whether an engineer works for City Hall or works for Willdan Engineering, they're going to be able to produce the same work product. They have the same level of expertise, the same schooling, and the same laws to follow. So at the end of the day, the work product will be similar when they're complete with their processes. So the differences are the key thing to talk about in my presentation. Max Weber and Appleby talk about the motivation from public employees to be rooted in serving the public interest. They want to serve the public. They have this inclination to get into public service, and they really get a good amount of respect from performing those duties, and it makes them feel good to do that. A private individual, their organization is set up and established to make money. So the motivation of a private person could be to make money for their employer. This could bring up a drawback in which an engineer working for Willdan, I'm not suggesting they do this by the way, but they could potentially spend significantly longer, say double the amount of time on a project that we would be doing at City Hall with our own engineer, and then be able to bill for double the amount of hours. Once again, I'm not suggesting Willdan Engineering does this, but it is a potential threat and something to be mindful of if you're looking at invoices. The second major difference is how private and public organizations hire or train people and even terminate or fire people. So Weber and Fayol talk about a formal selection process for public organizations, which we go through a very rigid application process, screening, interviews, panel interviews, testing, and then at the end, if you're offered a job, you typically have to do a physical or a drug test, or for public safety, even a lie detector or mental ability test. So for private, they don't really have to do that. A private company can establish a job, think about a job they need, think about who they want for that job, and hire them on the same day if they feel so inclined. Firing is a little bit different. So public organizations need to terminate employees based on their established rules and regulations, and it doesn't I shouldn't say it's not easy to do something really wrong. It's straightforward. But if you're just trying to get someone terminated because you don't like them or their performance is lacking, but they're making efforts to fix it, you can't really just terminate someone like that. Well, they have a right to their job. At a private organization, they can let people go whenever they want, and it's just how they work. If someone's just not working out, they don't really have to have grounds for dismissal. So that's a major difference. The last I'm going to talk about is accountability to the public, and Appleby talks about a higher sense of accountability to the public for a public administrator, because their working lives as well as their personal lives are under scrutiny by the public. And Selznick talks about accountability to the public to increase their legitimacy as a person as well as the organization. Private individuals don't have that public accountability. They don't work directly with the public. They work in a different office, not at City Hall. They're not subject to the Public Records Act, in which someone can request all of their emails for a month and read through them at their leisure, and their income levels aren't published on the state website, so no one knows what people in the private industry are making. So it really boils down to, does this really matter? And I think that it does. I think that there's a direct benefit of a city hiring someone that works at City Hall, that's been screened, that's capable of doing their job. They're not just given a job because they know someone. There's accountability of the public for that person, and their motivation is there. They want to work for a city because they're motivated to serve the public interest, not to make money. So that's my presentation. Here are the references I talked about, the different authors within the classic book that are within my paper in this presentation. And I really hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I look forward to watching all of yours. Thank you so much. Bye.